Hey, so I'm going to do a walk and talk because it's funny. I was on Faith FM. Check out Faith FM. Our church have a radio program that we run. But so we've got an app called Faith FM. You can get to the website as well. I think it's faithfm.com.au. But I was talking about it with Jason yesterday, who runs our Faith FM here in Tas, for Tas Encounters. And we're actually discussing how we've become so individualistic that even places where you're supposed to find community like the gym is, people just wear their headphones, get on with the workout. It's not really a place where you go find friends and whatnot. And this morning, when I went to do my recording, I did plan to do my recording. I met old fella. His name was Angelo. Fit looking dude, 69 years old, he said he is. And he was benching and I offered to spot him if he wanted a spot. Man said, nah, he's good. And then we ended up chit-chatting and chatting a lot, man, like to the point I didn't even get to finish my do the workout that I had intended to do. And so things are a bit changed up today. And I was going to discuss about some things that happened. But anyway, so the thought was the irony. Just talked about that yesterday with Jason, and then today I'm making a new friend, and Angelo. Man, he's a strong. Hopefully I can be strong like him. And I'm his age. Real strong dude. But I'm about to walk down to a cafe down the road from my house so I can work on a sermon for tomorrow. Don't want to get hit by a truck. But one of the cool things this week, a tip for the dads that have daughters that have gone past that cute Cabbage Patch Kid age. This week I got a call from school while I was at work, and I was asked to come pick her up because she wasn't feeling well. She had cramps, and I was like, oh yeah, she got sport today. I was like, oh, it must be pretty serious. And the lady reception on the phone's like, yeah, she's in a bit of pain. I was like, what? So went to school, picked her up, checked her out. I was like, hey, I said, are your legs all right? She's like, hey? I said, you got cramps. She's like, Dad, it's not my legs. And I was like, oh, okay. So jump in the car, and I go to give her the speech about, you gotta have more serious situation to come home, and she had to educate me. So I need to educate my brothers. See, I grew up with a brother in my household, and my mom, I grew up in a Psalm 1 household. We didn't talk about these type of things. And so my daughter, she obviously grew up in a household of a Samoan dad and a Cambodian mother, but we are more westernized and talk about these things to an extent. But she had to educate me. She was like, Dad, when women use the phrase cramps, it's a formal or a more gentle way of saying that it's that monthly. And I was like, yo, darling, enough said. We don't need to talk about it anymore because I'm not very comfortable talking about those things. It, forgive me, but it kind of grosses me out. Just be real. So one of the cool things that, actually I just finished writing my sermon, and it's about the importance of using our intellectual capacity to make decisions, free will, make your choices. And this week, one of the mornings, I was talking with Lisa as I was dropping him off at school, and he asked about why he was banned from the tablet, and we got into that discussion. One of the questions I asked him was, do you know what dopamine is? And the boy reckons, yeah, he does. I was like, what the heck? Why does an 11-year-old know what dopamine is? And so we got into that discussion. I was telling him about how the attention span and the ability to have the brain in a place of health is not to have too many dopamine hits, right? And so when he plays Roblox, or when you watch a short form YouTube, as he likes to do, usually it has something to do with gaming, or what's that, Minecraft or Roblox. You know, it doesn't allow his brain to settle. And so good dopamine is, you know, being outdoors. And so I love it when he goes outdoors, because he loves the outdoors. He loves jumping on rocks, and he loves being in the, you know, the green grass and the sand and all that. But we got into a discussion about that, and I was telling him that familiarity with short form content really affects the ability to focus on long form content. And I thought that was a really good discussion. I want to talk more about that, but I need to pull up at home and get some errands done. You all right? So here's a theory that I have. As our taste buds and our palate becomes more familiar with 5 to 10 second videos, short articles, consuming them one after the other, we become really familiar with the lack of attention given to each story, right? In comparison to long form content, reading a book, you know, like it takes 10 hours to 15 hours to complete. It requires attention, it requires wrestling, it requires staying with the author from beginning to end to get the bigger picture, right? And so you stay with one tenet, one thought, one theme. When it comes to even watching movies, you can watch a full movie, a full length, and stay with the characters and whatnot. You know, it's not short form reels. Now, what's it got to do with us as humans? I really do believe that this is carrying over to our relationships to each other. You know, the ability to stay in it, to wrestle with things. You know, when something gets boring, or someone gets boring, and you don't get familiar with who they are, move on to the next. You know, and that ability to stay in the long form content is a dying ability, I believe. Furthermore, how does it affect me in my Christian walk? Well, when it comes to the Bible and looking at a passage, the intention is not to read it and say you've read from beginning to end. The whole purpose of the Bible is for us to get to know Jesus. And when you're walking with Jesus, this is not a one and done relationship. This is a lifelong relationship, through the good, the bad, and having the ability to wrestle through things, to stay in the mix, whether it's good or bad, and coming to the understanding of what it means to have a relationship. Because the way we have a relationship with Jesus is how we have a relationship with others. It's how we react. It's how we respond. It's how we maintain our relationships with others, sustain relationships with others as well. So that's the video. Tell me what you think. Long form content versus short form content.